The start of school brings many changes for families. The buying of new clothing and school supplies, making mealtime and bedtime schedules, organizing carpools, etc. We suddenly find ourselves very busy with planning for the upcoming 9 months because our family is evolving. We seem to be a year older, no matter when our actual birthdays are. School moves us all up another notch, and some are big notches. Entering school for the first time, changing schools, or going off to college. Every parent's goal is to ease these transitions and help our children to have the most successful school year possible. This task is not for the faint of heart, nor is it for those who wait until the last minute. This important objective takes much planning and effort, but the rewards will be most substantial for our children and for us if we begin working weeks before school actually starts. So here's a dozen concrete and abstract supports to these new lifestyle changes. Beginning with the concrete. Number 1, address safety. Make sure your child knows his or her own address and cell phone numbers of parents. This was a common parental teaching 50 years ago, but not so much today. With most homes not having landlines, children are at a disadvantage of memorizing a cell phone number that can often change. But it must be done. Your child needs to know how he or she could reach you in case of an emergency. Discuss and practice walking and bicycle safety. Never assume what your child knows. Ask, talk, and instruct. Number 2, have children set their own alarm clocks. Children should begin to do this when they are in first grade. Yes, first grade. Now this will require much teaching and practicing with your child. You don't just throw them to the wolves and say, take care of it, kid. You take them shopping and have them pick out a Hello Kitty or Superman clock and then teach them how to set it, how to turn it off, everything they will need to know to accept this responsibility. Start practicing days before school starts. You may need to remind them to set it each night, but gradually wean away from that by asking before bed, what things do you need to do before you hop into bed? I cannot count the number of parents of teens in my parenting classes who were still getting their adolescents up in the mornings for school and having a miserable time doing that. Only with power do you learn responsibility. Children and teens need that power to grow. Our kids want and need control over as many parts of their lives as they can handle. Your child can handle an alarm clock. Number 3, teach routines. Book bags should be packed the night before and put by the door ready to go in the morning. So what do we do after we get up? Hopefully, they have picked out their clothes for the day that night before. Our son used to lay his out on the floor, complete with socks and shoes. It looked like a complete human on the floor. Charts or cards with pictures can help them focus. Family rules will be necessary, like no TV until breakfast is over and teeth are brushed. Again, we talk and plan together. Number 4, plan what happens after school. Too often we neglect this as we are so concerned with getting to school on time. Where does the child go after school? With whom? What are the after-school rules? 5, establish homework times and places. Will each member have his own place or area to work, or is it a shared area? When is the best time for each to do their homework? Right after school or later? Number 6, designate places by the door or some convenient place and a constant place that can hold book bags, shoes, or any other necessary items. You could even design an in-box and an out-box area for papers and notebooks that parents must sign and then can put in the out-box for the child to take the next morning. This puts more responsibility on the child, right where it belongs. Always take time for training. And here are some not so concrete supports as well. Number 1, make an effort to have dinner together. Even if that time is fluid due to changing schedules, make dinner a priority. Some days you may need to eat dinner at 4:30 or in shifts, but make it happen. Number 2, talk with your child, often and much while you eat. Later in the evening or before bed, ask open-ended questions such like, what's the best thing about going back to school? What's the hardest? What would be most helpful to you for a successful school year? Number 3, listen a lot. Don't minimize their school fears and concerns. They are real and important to your child. If you want your child to talk more, then make sure you talk less and listen more. Number 4, problem solve together. Talk about how to handle bullies and other meanies at school, or how to respond to peer pressures they may face. Let them know you are in their corner. Number 5, keep the soil fertile. This refers to your parental attitude. We need to be approachable as problems may arise. Keep a chair near your home desk or workshop so that children can feel the safety of plopping down near you to talk or just to be. 6, keep routines. Even though they are changing and new schedules are emerging, keep things as consistent as possible. Rules, curfews, and homework times may be different, but the enforcement and follow-through are still critical. Your kids need to know they can count on you no matter how old they are. And one final note. Tell your children that you are making a new resolution for the coming school year. You, the parent, will not nag about homework at any time. As your children begin to gleefully beam, continue to say that their homework will be their responsibility and that they will experience any consequences for their homework choices. If you have done well the 12 supports previously outlined here, then this no-nag policy will naturally follow. We have to let go. As parent educator Jay Nelson says, the more you make homework your job, the less your children make it theirs. They won't need to take responsibility if we do. And don't forget to celebrate those well-done homework papers. Display them on the refrigerator, pin them on the curtains, anywhere they can be noticed and appreciated. And have a great school year.